tied 6-6 with the Milwaukee Brewers, and it's time now for the coach.
Bill Callahan proving once and for all that he's the man to lead the Huskers to a national championship.
Good time.
Bill Callahan.
Jets. Jets. That spells Jets.
Bill Callahan.
This is 2007 Bowl Game Callahan. That's right. I don't exist. Husker fan.
Bill Callahan.
Be in a position to win championships again, and we will do that. And we will do that with Bill Callahan as the head football coach.
Bill Callahan.
Remember when I was coaching in the Super Bowl? Husker fan.
Bill Callahan.
What's the fastest way out of Lincoln? Husker fan.
It's always a good time to hear the coach because that means it's Thursday. That means the week is almost over. And that means it's almost time for Michael Severe to do sports. Woo! Yeah! You should start with just Ric Flair sounds, the entire sportscast. I think it'd be good.
Whether you like it or you don't like it, you gotta love it because it's the best thing going. Woo!
I think you should do that throughout every sportscast after every story.
Woo!
Is Farrah still anchoring Saturdays?
No.
You could turn to her and go, woo! And she'd
Todd Andrews.
Oh, he'd freak out too.
I might mess up his hair if I go too.
He's a little bit straight-laced. Obviously, Bill and Lincoln joining us, although Bill and Lincoln's no longer Bill and Lincoln. He's Bill in New York, the head coach. Well, he's not the head coach yet, but he's working on it.
Yes.
The assistant head coach of the New York Jets, Jets. Coach, it is a pleasure to have you on once again. How's your week going?
Oh, the week's going real well. And, for this football coach, we're hanging in there. We're swinging away. And, we're doing the best we can with this football team to get ready for the upcoming football game. Great to be with both you guys. And, by the sounds of things, Severe's going to be anchoring the weekend. And, good luck with that. That could be terrible.
I completely agree with you, Coach. I watched the Jets game this past weekend, and running game didn't look good. Brett Favre didn't look good. Are you worried that you made the wrong decision and latched on to another loser?
Coach?
Yeah, I'm just trying to come up with a way to say this without totally cussing you out. I apologize for taking time there. I know you're at times quite valuable, but I don't appreciate that one so well. We had a little bit of difficult time, the other game, but you guys got to understand this is not college football. This is the National Football League, and there's a lot of parity in this football league, not like college football. And it's a different game, it's a different atmosphere. There's a lot of different things going on. And the last I checked, our football team is 1-1, and that's not below 500. So we're not a loser. Teams do lose every week in this football game. In this football league, I don't need to hear. I did not just lose at Price is Right. We don't need to hear those sound effects. We did lose a football game, not point guard. So let's get on with it.
Bill in New York joining us here. Well, you're in charge of the run game, if I remember correctly. And there was a time late in that game, you're down near the goal line. 3 straight runs were called, and you weren't able to get into the end zone against New England in a game you lose by 9. What's going on with the run game?
Well, let me just say this, Chris, that, this football team, we're doing the best we can. And, Brett Favre, he's a good quarterback. He's got a good arm, but his strength is handing off. As a football coach, you can only do so much. You put your guys, your old linemen, your football players in the right position to succeed. Whether or not they do, that's up to them. And, to use an analogy, you put the ball on a tee. If the batter swings and misses, you don't blame the tee. We tried. We gave it our best effort. But we did get some points. It was frustrating we didn't get 4 more than we did on that drive, but we got a few points. And I was reading somewhere where Nebraska ran 4 straight times against New Mexico State inside the 5 and couldn't punch it in at all. So, and imagine how tough that would be in the National Football League, where the greatest players and smartest coaches reside.
Coach, as Kevin said, you are the run game coordinator and similar to being a ground game coordinator. I heard you were working with Houston Alexander on his ground game.
Oh, that's cold.
He didn't do so well after you worked with him. What happened, Coach?
Well, that's unfortunate. I did hear that. I did watch Spicky TV the other day. And, he had a difficult time. But, Houston Alexander has never called me. The Houston Texans have called me, asking just how to solve their run game, and I have faxed them plenty of those. But, in terms of the ground game for Houston Alexander, I can't really help him there. Although I do know, karate, and I am very good with nunchucks. I cannot help him, in that ultimate fighting. That UFC thing that he does. It's unfortunate, but I hope he tapped out properly.
Bill in New York is joining. You were in Nebraska for several years. We never knew that you had a proficiency in the karate and the nunchuck area. Why has that not been brought up before?
Well, let me just say this, Chris, that, I did have a couch in my office, and I spent many times there. And I also had a television and also a VCR. And, there are many different instructional videos you can use there. They all fit into that deck. And, so I would do that, and sometimes when our team would struggle, it might have been because I was focusing a little too much that week on the nunchuck. But, we did the best we can as a football coach of the football team. And sometimes, when you're doing poorly as a football team, sometimes you do get death threats. And, that happened at Nebraska. And the best way to do it, the best way to defend yourself is to know how to defend yourself. And, that's what we did, and that's what I did. And Kaz was very good, with the bow.
Coach, I have to ask you, were you a two nunchuck guy, or were you with the tri-chucks? Because I always like the tri-chucks more.
Well, whether you're talking nunchucks or bow or Chinese stuff, they're all quite similar. But, it was just a frustrating time for all of us. Kaz and Elmo, had to learn, martial arts, MMA, as you were talking about before. But, these things happen as football coaches, and you need to do the best you can, whether it's on the football field or in a dark alley walking to your car late at night.
Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Bill in New York joining us here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Before we let you go, Coach, Nebraska's starting to get a lot of talk from the national media. Michael and I have mentioned it today during our show that Nebraska seems to be once again getting embraced by the national media at 3-0. Do you believe in this team?
Well, I believe in a lot of things. But I'm not going to quote Bull Durham right now. But I haven't watched their games. So it will be unfair for me, to provide an accurate analysis at this juncture. But, if what you're saying is accurate, good for that football team. But, if my memory serves me accurate, if it's spot on, if it's correct, we ran for roughly 3,000 yards in our first game against we did well against Ball State. Our defense was what it was. But, let's just wait to cast that verdict, that decision. Till they start playing some difficult teams. Let me just tell you how it is in the National Football League. We don't gauge our success by how we do in the preseason. And, Bo Pally and company want to do that. They may need to learn some of those instructional videos we did as well. You can't get ahead of yourself as a football coach. Every game is different. Every year is different. And every day has a new set of challenges, whether that's an opposing defense or offense, or death threat.
Bill in New York. Coach, a pleasure to talk with you once again. We really appreciate the time. Have a good week this week.
Thanks so much, guys. I just like to say this. I need to defend my quarterback at this juncture. I've gotten so many emails, talking about Brett Favre, how he's too old for this football game. And let me just say this. He's an incredible football player. He's definitely young beyond his years. He's not showing his age whatsoever. And, the only thing that might be showing his age is his memory just a little bit, if I might just share a quick story here.
Uh-huh.
After this past game, I saw him in the hallway, and he called me Bill Callahan. And, and I told him, I said, Brett, that's not my name. And I reminded him of that. And then he told me I was number one. So, a lot of fans here in the Big Apple, in New York, seem to believe I'm number one. And that's encouraging. It's enlightening. It's exhilarating. Exuberating. As football coach of this football team, we just can't wait to bring a championship back to New York.
Coach, a pleasure. Thank you so much. We'll talk with you next week.
Thanks. You guys got a great radio program. And we'll talk to you in about 7 days.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach is a black belt and you didn't even know it.
The image of Coach doing karate
Yes.
with an instructional video makes me smile and has kept me smiling ever since he said it just a few moments ago.
There's no fear in this dojo.